I've been looking forward to this all week. Today I'm going to start the seeds for my dye garden, and if you have a seed tray, some seed starting soil, and your growing lights, then you're ready to start too. So let's get started. It's also helpful to have a container of water and a bin and a trowel or old spoon that you can mix your soil with. And I'll be wearing some gloves as well. If you're using a tray that has channels in it and the coconut pellets, you'll want to set the compressed pellets into each compartment and then put a couple of inches of water into the tray of warm water and let the pellets expand. I'm going to be using the seed starting mix. This is a fresh bag, so the soil is pretty moist, but I'm going to add just a little bit more water. I like how parts of this are starting to hold together. You can see you don't want it to ooze water when you squeeze it, but look how it holds together. So I'm going to keep adding and mixing until I've got this kind of texture throughout all of the soil. This soil is now nicely moistened. It's going to settle down very easily into my seed cells and also easily absorb more water if needed. If you started out with soil that was a bit dry, it will take some working and mixing to get the dry soil to start absorbing water. It's really important you get it to where it's holding the water well before you plant your seeds. Okay, let's fill those seed trays. These seed cells are ready to accept some seeds now, and also to be placed in the bottom tray. Now I've added about a 1/4 inch of water to this bottom tray, and these seed cells will absorb that water from the bottom and finish dampening the soil. If you don't want to have to run out and buy some seed trays, there are some other options you could choose. Here I just used a plastic bin and an emptied nursery 6-pack to hold the seed starting mix. What I like about this is that because this is slightly deeper, it will keep my plastic covering, which I'll be spreading in a moment here. It'll keep the plastic covering from touching the soil. You could also choose to use small paper cups for your soil and set those down into a tray instead of a nursery pack. Before you plant your seeds, I should also point out that you don't want to start them until you are 6 or less weeks from your last frost date. The seeds will only be in the seed trays for 4 to 6 weeks, and you want the low temperatures to be warm enough for your seedlings when you put them out in the garden. So check the average last frost date for your area. It should be pretty easy to look it up online, and check your calendar and make sure that you are 6 or less weeks from the last frost date. I'm starting my seeds in mid-April, and I know that by the 1st of May, there's no more frost in my area, so I'm good to go. Seed packets have planting depth guidelines printed on the package, and I'll be following those guidelines as we go along. I've laid my seeds out in the order I'm going to plant them in the seed tray, and you'll notice that a couple of these rows have 2 varieties. I have 2 different packages of Coreopsis, so I'm going to plant some of each in this row. So there I have a front row and a back row, and I'll just divide the packets accordingly. So in this situation down here with the sunflowers and the marigolds, the reason I did that is because typically sunflower seeds can be direct seeded in the garden. So I will be planting some directly in the garden, but I wanted to see how they would do as starts in the house and have these just in case the direct seeding didn't work out. The marigolds, I probably will actually buy some from the nursery because they're readily available there. And it's nice to have a quick win in the garden, but I wanted to try starting these from seed because I've never done that either. Also, in terms of the number of seeds, I want to plant twice as many seeds as what I plan to use in the garden. That way, if I have a poor germination rate, I don't come up short. So I'm planning on planting, let's see, 4 of each plant in the garden. So I need at least 8 seedlings or 8 seed cells to make sure that I'm covered. Now I have a lot more than that here, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So I'll actually have extra, and I'm okay with that. You could always choose to add some more varieties in as well. That could be fun. I'm going to use a chopstick to poke holes in my dirt. You can also use a pen or a pencil, anything long and narrow works. And I'm just going to mentally mark the depth on the chopstick before I start poking holes. And in they go. This is the moment I've been waiting for. I'm going to plant one variety at a time and just work my way across this whole tray. And once I drop these seeds in the hole, I can poke them down with the chopstick if needed. Now, if you're limited on, your seed tray space and you have more seeds you want to plant, it's actually typical to put 2 seeds in each hole, with the idea that not all of them are going to sprout. And then eventually, if you do end up with 2 in the same, you can just pinch one out. I think I'm actually going to go ahead and put a label on that right away so that I don't forget by the end what has been planted where. Some of your seeds will be really, really tiny, such as these Coreopsis seeds, and in that case it's easier and usually recommended on the seed packet to just press them into the soil. And so let me show you that. I'm not even going to try to count these seeds. I'm just going to sprinkle some over the seed tray. Okay, so I've sprinkled a few on each cell, and then they're just going to be pressed in. This is one of the reasons why you don't want to do overhead watering, because these seeds are so tiny and so close to the surface that they would just run away with the water. I always feel better about just like a sprinkle of dirt, but it's got to be pretty fine. You don't want any chunks falling on top of the seeds. So if there's pieces of bark, for example, you would want to get rid of those. Okay, I always feel nervous about these tiny seeds, but that's just the way they work. Before I plant my indigo seeds, I just want to point out that there are different types of indigo. This one is Persicaria tinctoria, and what I like about this one is that you can do fresh leaf dyeing. I don't always get an indigo vat going, and so it's nice to be able to just do some projects with the fresh leaves. These are the Persicaria tinctoria seeds, Japanese indigo. They're not quite as small as the Coreopsis seeds, but they are small, and I'm going to aim for about 1/8 inch to 1/4 inch depth when planting these. If we look very closely, we can see the little Persicaria tinctoria seeds in this divot. And I didn't try to count how many went in there because they are pretty small. You can see my depth is just the tip of this chopstick. When I planted my hollyhock seeds in here, they didn't quite fall into the hole, so I'll just poke it down a little bit. Look at these gorgeous glossy black sunflower seeds. With the Hopi sunflower, it's actually the seeds that are used for dyeing. So we're growing these for the seeds. These I'm going to plant about 1 inch deep. And just a reminder, make sure you save some of your sunflower seeds for direct seeding in the garden. All my seeds are planted and the dome is ready to go on. It looks like some of my tags are too tall, so I'm going to trim those up. I'll be back. In case you don't have plant labels, I just wanted to show you this other option for labeling. This is another seed starting tray that I have that I've got some other types of seeds in, but you can see I've just taken a bit of masking tape and taped it onto the side of the seed starting tray. I've got my dome fitted over the seed tray, but I am also going to check in a couple of hours underneath the seed cells, and if there's still standing water, I'm going to drain it out because we don't want the seeds sitting in too much water. My seed trays have been soaking in the water for about an hour, and I can see that this side of the tray, I don't know if it's visible for you, but the soil is sort of glistening with moisture, and the other side is a bit drier. Evidently this table is uneven and the water was flowing to one side, so I just turned the tray and added some more water inside here because it was dry, and I'm letting it soak for a bit longer until all of the seed trays are moist. The soil in my trays is evenly moist now, and so I am in the process of just setting them aside for a minute so I can drain this outer tray. And once it's drained, I'll set everything back inside and it will be ready to go under the grow lights. This is the hollyhock dress. In the next video, I'll show you some examples of what you can do with dyes from the garden. Be sure to catch all of my videos by subscribing to my channel and help other people find this video by liking it. I also have a lot of fun things happening outside of YouTube, and if you want to check those out, you can join my newsletter. The link to sign up for that is in the description below this video.